All right, thank you ladies for joining me today for this webinar on how to crack the consistency code. And you're in the right place if you are looking to really learn more about why you're not being consistent in your business right now and what you can do to change that. But also, we're going to talk a little bit about the reasons why you're not being consistent, the 4 key areas that you need to be focusing on so that you can make sure that you're growing your business and that you are getting the right clients in, you're getting consistent income and everything else like that. And I'm going to share with you my personal consistency cure. This is what I use when I wanted to kind of get more consistent in a particular area of my life or business. And I'll show you the steps that I work through to be able to kind of create myself I call it a prescription of sorts to help me in that. And then I'm going to talk about the things that you need to be doing daily for success in this area. So it is a lot of talk about consistency, but I really want to kind of frame that and tell you why we're going to talk a lot about consistency today, because it's so important for you in your business. But if this is your first time coming on one of my webinars, my name is Tisha Chalu. And I'm a business strategist and coach, and my sweet spot is business visibility. So I help you get found, get seen, get known by the people that matter, and they are your ideal clients, okay? These are people who are looking for what you have to offer, and you are the answer to their problem, and essentially we just marry you together. And with that, I help you get confidence in and clarity around your message and kind of the problem that you solve and how you help people solve it. And then obviously the strategy around your social media, your website, all that sort of thing, in terms of building your brand online so that you can attract those clients to you. All right. I've been in business for over 4 years. This year, I had the pleasure of saying goodbye to my 9-to-5, and I now do this full time. And so I'm sharing with you today some of the things that I committed to doing in my business that really helped me to take that leap to become a full-time entrepreneur. And being consistent was one of them. Really, I can't lie. It's something that was a decision that I made earlier this year, right at the beginning of the year actually, to be consistent. And I want to talk about how that really has benefited me. So those of you on the live stream in the group, hi. Thank you for watching as well. And we're going to kick off. And firstly, if you signed up for this, you would have got a message back from the registration asking you, what area do you want to be more consistent in? And I always ask that question because we all have areas where we're doing really well, and we have areas where we know we could do better. And if you are able to kind of identify those areas where you want to do better, then that's a really good stepping stone for awareness as well. So I'm trying to mute everybody because there's some background noise and I don't want to have that on the recording. Okay, so why is it so important for you to be consistent? Why is that really an important thing? So firstly, it builds trust, not only with yourself, because you're doing what you say you're going to do, but with your clients and your customers as well, okay? So they know what to expect when they work with you, and then they can come back for more. I always like to use the analogy of McDonald's. If you've ever been to a McDonald's in your home country and then been to a McDonald's in another country, you will see that they are consistent in the delivery of what they give you, their service, their operations, and bearing some regional differences in terms of food and things like that, you will know that McDonald's are very consistent in their brand and their business. And that's what you want to have for yourself as well, because that instills trust. I know that I can go to America and order a Big Mac and it's going to look and taste the same, probably a lot bigger, but you know what I mean. So that's the first reason. The second reason consistency is important is because it requires a bigger vision approach with a daily focus. And what does that mean? You have to think about the end game and get out of that kind of microwave instant gratification mindset. A lot of people think that they can just do something once, they can just do something today, and then they'll get magical results tomorrow. And it doesn't work that way. You have to be committed to the process, and you have to be committed to doing the work day in, day out for a period of time to get the results. Farmers don't sow seeds and then go back the next day hoping for a harvest. They go and sow seeds, they water those seeds, they tend to their ground, they do all that sort of thing because they know that they will reap a harvest after a certain period of time. And the same thing and the same approach happens for you in your business. Thirdly, it gives you the basis to track your performance. And it becomes easier in the long run. When we started tracking my stats in my business and I was able to see, I track my income, I track my list size, my social media, everything else like that. The beautiful thing about doing that was that I was able to then see things that were improving, that things that we needed to do better on, because you know the whole saying, what gets measured gets improved. So whether it's your income, the number of sales calls, how often you post on Facebook group, you know, by making a commitment and tracking your results, you can see that you can see the areas where you need to make changes, and you can also, you know, if any, make some adjustments. Because the thing is, I find that people don't track stuff, and then you're not able to see whether something's working, and then you kind of start something and then you change what you're doing because, oh, you think it's not working, but you have no way of proving that. So I know that if I am tracking my numbers and we start to run a Facebook ad campaign, or I start doing a guest post outreach, you know, or start doing podcast interviews, I can then have a look and see, okay, of these things, which things were working, which things shall we continue to do, all right? And then, you know, the more you do something, the easier it gets and the more efficient you become. So that's why that's so important. The fourth thing is that it allows you to maintain your message because you're living it out day in, day out. So I talk about being visible daily. I talk about how you want to be sharing your message every day and doing all of that. And so if you are consistent to your visibility, if you're consistent to kind of growing your business, you will be doing that and it will be reinforced in your actions every single day. And finally, it helps you to develop routines, okay? And build momentum and traction. For me, I just got so sick and tired of constantly stopping and starting because I was losing momentum in my business. Because, you know, you start to do something, you think it's working, you're not sure, you give up, you quit, you do something else. And it was just not getting me moving anywhere. And if you watched in the group this week, on Monday, I talked about how, are you in motion or are you taking action? And so what happens is, if you're constantly kind of stopping and starting in what you're doing, you're going to be in this constant motion state and you're not going to be taking the action that you need to move yourself forward, okay? And it's that momentum and traction that actually brings the success that you want in your business, okay? So let's talk about the 5 reasons why you're not currently being consistent in your business, and see which one that you relate to, and share with me in the comments, because I would love to know which one relates to you. So the very first reason why you're not being consistent right now is that you have no vision. So if you've followed me long enough, you know that I always talk about having a vision. I always talk about being really clear on what it is that you want to achieve in your business. And also, more importantly, what you want to achieve in your life, okay? So if you are not very clear on your vision, if you're not clear on what it is you're trying to achieve and the goals, then you're not going to have any sort of, what's the word for it? You're not going to have any sort of buy-in in terms of wanting to achieve those things, okay? So you want to make sure that that's what you have. And a lot of you are operating without a vision. And so you get up every day, you're doing your business, you're doing your different things, and you have no end goal that you're working towards. And it's like going on a journey without any destination, and you're basically traveling with no instructions. So you can imagine what kind of business that would be. And so you really want to have a clear vision for your business and where you want to go. And so this time of the year is perfect because you are basically having a chance to review 2016, and you're also going to start to set goals for 2017. And one of the great ways I like to do my goals for 2017 is to think about this time next year and what things I would want to have achieved this time next year that I can talk about and say, oh my goodness, 2017 was amazing. Look at all the things I did and how we did in the business and everything else like that. And that really gives you a great indication of the things that you want to go for in your business and also in your life as well. So I sat down and did this exercise this week, and I kind of was refining it yesterday. I was just like, oh, this time next year. In fact, how did I even write it? This is my journal. Let me just see what I wrote. I phrased it like, I said, what did I write? 2017 is the year I finally, I kind of wrote some things down, and then I wrote in 2017 I did this and I did that, and it's just a really powerful way to get connected to your real, your true desires. So get clear on your vision, okay? That's one of the reasons you're not being consistent in your business, because you're not clear on the vision for your business. You're not really sure where you want to go in your business. And so without having a clear vision, you're going to find yourself doing activities and tasks that are not taking you any closer to your goals. And that kind of is very discouraging. And it's also very, very frustrating for some of you. For those of you in the live stream, hi. I'm looking between both of you, so I'm focusing on here because the recording is here, but I'm not ignoring you, okay? So yeah, you want to ask yourself, what is it that I want, okay? What is the big vision for my life and my business? And just break it down. So like I said, go forward, project 12 months from now and say, if I was talking to my future self, what has happened in 2017 that has made this year really, really incredible for me. Okay. So that is the first reason. Now, the second reason why you're not being consistent is that you are setting yourself up for failure. Okay, so the thing about consistency is that it's about doing the right habits and taking the right action at the right time and doing the things that are actually going to benefit you as opposed to being detrimental. And it's sort of like it's your future self and your present self having this sort of internal dialogue and battle, because you know, okay, going into the future, I want to grow my list, or I want to book out, get lots of clients, or I want to become more consistent on my social media. Your present self is like, I'm really busy and, I don't even know what to even say on my social media. And I'm just, I can just go and do something else. Okay. And so it's about looking at what things currently sabotage you and making a plan for it. So let me give you an example. And this is a very easy example to kind of relate to. If you want to go to the gym, okay, and go in the gym in the morning, how do you prepare so that you can be successful in that? Okay, so things like making sure that you have your bag ready, you have your gym clothes ready. Some people even sleep in their gym clothes. They literally just wake up, grab their stuff and go. So it's about being prepared. And like even just everyday life, if I want to be consistently taking my children to school on time, I think, okay, what do we need to have in place so that we are just like, it's a smooth ship, we get out the door into school. And so you think, how can I prepare myself? So if you want to journal in the morning, for example, you want to make sure that your journal is out and everything is ready to go. You don't want to have to find stuff. If you want to have even your morning coffee, your morning routine, you want to make sure that those things are really all set up for you. So you want to set yourself up for success. That's the key thing. You're not being consistent right now because you're not planning for failure. You're allowing yourself to just do things without thinking, okay, what are the things that actually will prevent me from going after the thing that I actually want? What are the things that stop me from being visible every day? What are the things that stop me from tracking my money every day, or journaling every day, or reaching out to people every day? What are those things? So you identify those things and you kind of make a plan for it. And we'll talk more about that in the Consistency Cure. So you want to set yourself up for success. Often we have tasks and activities and that we know we need to do. We know we need to do them, and we don't spend time figuring out how can we make our life easier. So for example, talk about social media. So for a long time when I was doing it, I would do it a little bit and then I would, stop, and then things would get busy, and then I would, have a bit more downtime, and then I'd do it again. And it was so inconsistent. When I then started to bring in a scheduling tool, that brought an element of consistency, and it allowed me to become visible on a consistent basis without me having to be always posting and sharing live, if that makes sense. I still go in and do that, and I still did go in and do that. But what also it meant was that I, if life happens, because life happens, those things are taken care of, okay? So we actually sabotage ourselves because we don't plan for success. So I know that if I want to go to the gym, I need to make sure that I know all my kit is and everything is ready, because I would just be like, well, I can't find my top, I can't find my shoes, I'm not going to go. And it's the same thing in your business, okay? So whatever little excuse that you'll make because you haven't planned for failure, you're then going to want to kind of look and see, how can I manage that and make that better, okay? So my recommendation is, think about what is it you're trying to achieve and make a plan for it. The third reason why you are not being consistent right now is that you don't schedule these things in. So I'm somebody who lives and dies by my Google Calendar. And if I don't put something in there, even something like follow up with people, or, I put in my Q&A Tuesday calls, they go in the diary. When I do my live streams, they go in the diary, because if they don't go in the diary, they don't happen. Other things happen on top of there. People put other things in the diary. You forget. Like today, for example, my son had his school nativity. And I remember the time I took a picture of the notice and I didn't put it in my diary. And it's only because my husband took him to school this morning and got the reminder. So it's things like that. You have to put stuff in your diary. You need to know, often we don't think about the best times for doing things, and we don't look at ourselves and say, well, actually, I'm a morning person, so let me do these activities now, or I'm a night person, or I have kids, or I have a job. So how can I fit my tasks and activities around myself and my schedule and my lifestyle so that I can set myself up for success? Okay, we need to think, how can I become more effective with my schedule and my time? So whether that means like, batching your content, if you like to write blog posts and even do videos, so that's what I used to do. I would just sit there over a day or so and just record a load of stuff, because it was easy to do that, and it meant that I can then release things on a weekly basis that made me look consistent because I'd spent the time to batch those things. So you want to think, okay, I like to batch them on certain days. I like to do client calls on certain days. I do my client calls on Tuesdays and Wednesdays because I like to have those things kind of on the same days. You know, I like to create content on certain days. So you want to think, how do I like to work? How can I work best in my business so that I can do the things that I need to do? You know, it's also, if you've read The Power of Habits by Charles something, I can't pronounce his last name, but he talks about how you can also connect these tasks that you do, but maybe you don't like to do, but you know you need to do, with things that have other sort of pleasures. So for example, I know like I need to do ironing and stuff. So I say to myself, well, okay, I have all these podcasts and webinars and things I want to catch up on. Let me just wait when I do my, let me connect it to my ironing. So I get my ironing done and I get to reward myself and listen to my podcast and that sort of thing. So you're kind of connecting those two things together. So it's a lot about habits. There's a lot about doing the right thing at the right time. And it's a lot about just really thinking about yourself and how you work, because all of us are different. If you have a full-time job, your commitment to consistency will be different because you have time restrictions. If you have kids, you have time restrictions. If you have other things that you're doing, you have time restrictions. So you really have to think about, how can I make sure that I'm incorporating my lifestyle into the way I do things as well? So you want to take your big vision, and you want to break that down, and you want to have a look and see, well, how can I, these tasks that I need to do, how can I put them into some sort of a schedule that will work for me? And we'll talk a little bit more about that, okay, later. The fourth reason why you are not being consistent is that you're making excuses. Like, you just decide, well, there's a better reason, and it may be conscious or unconsciously, you decide that there's a better reason why you are not going to do what you decided to do. And often it's rooted in fear or limiting beliefs that we have. I have a client who knows that she needs to be visible. She knows that she needs to be posting on her social media and emailing her list, but she doesn't do it. And then we have a conversation and she goes, I know I need to do this, but, and then, a fear will come up, or something will come up. And so, and essentially it's an excuse. And so you have to ask yourself, the reason that I'm not doing the things I know I should be doing, what's the excuse? And is this excuse really, am I going to allow it to hold me back? Am I going to allow it to, let me sabotage 2017? Because here's the thing, if you do the same things that you've been doing this year and it hasn't produced the results that you want, you're going to end up next year in exactly the same position. So it's about having that truthful conversation with yourself. Are you making excuses? Are you just deciding that other things are more important than the thing you actually say is important? Because here's the thing, when you're committed to something, like truly, truly committed, there are no excuses. You do what you need to do. When you want to make that leap, so for me, I have not committed to taking my health and fitness seriously. Like, I haven't, and I'll be honest, because if I did, and if I had, then I would see those results. I choose to put other things above that and say they're more important. I have the time and this and everything, and they're excuses, because I can sit here and tell you, well, I was committed to my business this year. I knew I wanted to leave my job, so I did what I needed to do, and there was no excuses. I just did it. So you have to ask yourself, am I making excuses? And if I am, why? Like, why am I making excuses? Think about something that you've wanted to do. Maybe it's posting a video on Facebook, doing your first Facebook Live, emailing your list, whatever, a visibility task. You haven't been doing it. You haven't been doing it daily. Why? Like, what is holding you back? So I'm going to pause here and ask also in the Facebook chat and also in the group chat, what excuses have you been making right now that have stopped you doing the things that you should be doing right now in your business? Okay, so post over in the Facebook Live, post over here in the group. I'm going to read some of them out because it's really important for you to be aware that some of these things are excuses. Like, sometimes, genuinely there are reasons, but a lot of the time they're excuses. So, what's the reason? Why have you not done what you said you want to be doing? What is holding you back? So post it in the chat. It's be good to see what people can say about that, because a lot of the times we are making excuses and the underlying reason is fear. So let me see what anything in chat here. But why are you not doing the thing you need to be doing? Because we all know what we need to do. Here's a beautiful thing. When you even come work with a coach, even if you come work with me, you know what you need to be doing. You know what you need to be, the actions that you should be taking, but you're not doing it. So what's the reason that you're not doing? So Akinya says indecision. Okay. Julia says, I keep telling myself I'm not very technical, and you have the fear of getting it wrong. Okay. Excellent. These are really good ones. Any other ones? Why are you not doing the activities that you know you should be doing? So indecision is a really interesting one. And I'll talk about that in a second. Sharon says, I guess the issue is I think I am a bit undisciplined. Okay. So there's a couple of things that I've come out here that I want to mention actually on this point. Okay, firstly, indecision. Being able to make decisions in your business quickly is key to success. And I was somebody who struggled a lot with making decisions. And again, this came down to fear that if I made a decision and it was the wrong decision, what would happen? And because of that, I didn't make decisions, or if I did, I took ages to make a decision, and then I changed my mind and went back and forth and back and forth. And that is just the worst way to run your business. So ask yourself, when it's time to make decisions, what's the worst that can happen? If I make a decision and it goes this way, and I make a decision and it goes this way, like, what's the worst that can happen? And are you okay with that? Because the ability to kind of say, make a decision and live with it and be okay with it is so crucial. And you're only going to be able to do that when you know what your bigger vision is. Because if you don't know what that is, you're not able to make decisions, because you're not able to know, is this in line with where I want to go or not? Okay. Chichi says, Fina says, in some areas, I think my planning needs to be improved. Okay. So for Julia and Sharon, who said, I think the issue is that I am a bit undisciplined. I keep telling myself I am not very technical. It's really interesting how you have labeled yourself those things and whether they're actually true or not true, because we make decisions and we take actions based on who we think we are. So I want to quickly read something to you. I got that notebook here, yeah. I read it this week and it was really powerful. It really struck me about how you know when you are where you are. So yeah, it says, what I do now is a mirror image of the type of person I believe that I am, whether that's consciously or unconsciously. So I'll read that again. What I do now is a mirror image of the type of person I believe that I am, consciously or unconsciously. So think about that. So for both of you ladies, you believe that you are the kind of person that isn't disciplined. Julie, you think you're the kind of person that's not technical, so you then take action based on that story that you tell yourself. Okay, sure, you may not know how to use certain tools and different things, but sometimes is it really necessary to know those things? Because there are people out there who do know those things who can help you, okay? So it's really interesting to get clear on the identity of the woman you are, because we want to be women who are consistent. So when I kind of have my affirmations, I am a confident, capable, and consistent woman. You decide the woman that you are, and from that place kind of breathe the kind of behaviors and actions that you take. Okay, so let's see what we have. Wow, fear is connected to indecision. Then courage leads me to decide anyways. Wow. That's from McKinney. And from me says, the feeling that I would A, fail by not having enough content, or B, growing too big that I overshadow other people. That's really interesting for me. So the fear that you will overshadow other people. Now, here's the thing. We cannot hold ourselves back because we're worried about what other people will say, feel, do. Because the thing is, there will always be people who will have something to say about you. And there will always be people who don't like what you're doing. And think about this. Do you really want to go through your life in this self-imposed container where you're just limiting yourself because you don't want to overshadow people? You've been given amazing gifts. For me, you've been given amazing talents. You are called, and I say called, to go out there and share those with the world and be the very best version of yourself. So that's a mindset thing. You know, you need to think about, why do I feel like I can't truly, truly shine? Why do I feel that I have to hold myself back? Okay. So that's the thing. And on failure, here's the thing. As an entrepreneur, you need to fall in love with failure. You need to fall in love with failure and fail fast, you know, because that's what holds us back. We sit here and we don't take action because we're afraid to fail. And we're afraid to, you know, oh, this is not going to work. And then I have to start again. Or what will people say? You have to learn to love failure, because it's, you know, if you downloaded those success affirmations that I did last week, one of them says, I never lose. I either win or I learn. So if you are not successful in something, you just learn something to take forward with you next time. Okay, you don't sit there and not take any action because you're afraid of failure. That's why so many of you stay in motion, and some of you stay in that state of constantly moving through motion and taking action that's moving you forward. Okay, I've got one here. So Romana says finances and time. So I think that they are excuses, Romana. Okay, so time is an excuse. Okay, we all have the same amount of time. So if you say you haven't got time to do something, it means that it's not important enough for you. Because if it was, you would create the time for it. Finances, the way I look at finances, yes, okay, in the reality of things, you may not have the exact money to pay for something right now. However, there are ways and there are means. You have to think like this. There's something that a coach told me once, which is really powerful. If you ever have an idea for something, if you ever have this kind of urging to do something, know that the resources to help you achieve that thing are around you. You just cannot see them yet. So you just need to think and ask yourself, okay, this thing has been laid on me. I want to do this thing. I don't see the money right now, but I believe the resources are out there. So I'm going to open my eyes to the opportunity, because there are means and there are ways. Okay. So that's what I would say there. Rumbi says, I feel I need a grotto or a special environment to Facebook Live. So an environment and being perfect. This is the whole adage of I'm not ready. When this is this, I will do this. When this is this, I will have kids. When this is this, I will do this. When I earn enough money, I'll invest in a coach. When I do this. So you have to see, Rumbi, that is holding you back. Okay. We have to start where we are. We need to start where we are and know that those other things will fall into place. If I waited for perfect circumstances to do my Facebook Lives, I would not do them. Honestly, I've done Facebook Lives in cupboards, in my car, not while driving. I've done Facebook Lives in rooms where my kids are playing. I did a Facebook Live yesterday. My daughter was playing with her friend, literally, just there next door to us. So I don't make excuses, because I believe that if you really want to do something, you just start where you are with what you have, and then you improve as you go along. Okay. You've done in the park. Honestly, I've done Facebook Live everywhere. I just think sometimes you get inspiration, and I've done Facebook Lives walking back from my son's preschool. So I think, again, it's that my ego. So my mission and my message are bigger than my ego. So I will make that decision and be like, there's been times where I'm like, oh, I'm not ready. I need to look better. And I won't lie, there have been times when I've been like, okay, I will go and just put a bit of makeup on. But other times I've been like, you know what? I'm just going to do this thing, and then it's done. Because again, if I've committed to consistency, so in the ideal world, for example, I like to do my Monday motivation walking back from my son's preschool visit, okay, when I dropped him off from school, because then I know that by the time I hit home, that thing is done and I can start my day. Anytime that doesn't happen that way, if I don't do it in that moment, then it kind of, I struggle to find time to do it in the rest of the day because of how my day is. And so it's finding those pockets of time to do that sort of thing. So yeah, you don't need any special anything to do anything. You just decide, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to do it. Okay, Franklin says, feeling overwhelmed with all the technical stuff. Okay, so again, similar to what Julie said, when you're feeling overwhelmed with technical stuff, that's the moment for you to go and get the expert involved and say, look, I can't do this. It's holding me back. Take it off my hands. Because, when we allow technology to hold us back, it's a really, I understand it and I get it when you can't do certain things, but there are people who can. And that's why we all have different roles and responsibilities and things that we can do. So don't let us use those as excuses. Fabrizio says, I fear I might drop the ball and cause some crazy mess with my clients, but now I move on and do things anyway. But the fear is always there. I have a long history of successful mess ups. Okay. So I can't remember the exact wording, but your history does not kind of dictate your future. So it's sort of like, it's great to have that awareness, Fabrizia. And it's also interesting, the fear that we'll drop the ball and kind of cause that messy sort of situation. We have to be careful that we don't preempt certain things happening, because we're constantly thinking of them and we're constantly feeling that this fear is going to manifest itself, because then it may do. But I think it's, that's just the nature of you wanting to take care of your clients and you wanting to support them. So awareness is great. And like you said, the fear is there, but you're doing it anyway. Julia says, I started to do Facebook Live on the 1st of December, giving different abs, exercises and nutrition. My list is going crazy from Sunday, over 200 new followers. Amazing. Well done, Julia. That's really, really good. You see? So ladies, thank you so much for sharing with me your excuses. And can you all see that they are excuses and they are stories that we tell ourselves that are stopping us from getting to where we want to be? Because think about it. If you did that thing that you know you need to do, so for me, like one of the things was like sales calls and reaching out to people and all that sort of thing. I hated it. I didn't do it. I avoided it like the plague. And obviously that impacts your business and your income. And when I kind of got over myself, and I literally got over that fear during this last launch, and I literally was like, I see this woman, she will be an amazing fit for this program. I'm going to reach out to her. Is it scary? Yes. Could she say no? Yes. But I'm not going to get attached to it. You just push through and you see the results. So you want to decide and say to yourself, okay, you think, oh, I'm scared to do this because I'm afraid, but flip it on its head. If I do this thing and this happens, what will that mean for me? Like, how will that help my business in so many ways? Okay. So always ask yourself that question. So let's continue with the fifth reason why you are not being consistent. Okay. You don't have accountability. Okay. You're trying to do this thing on your own. How many times have you said publicly you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then you kind of like, you know what, I cannot not do this thing because I've told so many people. There's something powerful that comes with accountability. There's something powerful that comes with sharing with others that, you know, I'm going to do something. You find that if you connect with other people and you reach out to them and say, look, this is what I want to do, hold me accountable, stuff gets done. I find that when I'm in that space and I know I have to report back to my coach, I have to report back to my mastermind or what have you about something I said I'm going to do, I'm more inclined to do it just because I don't want to lose face, and also because you've made that commitment to yourself, and you know people are checking up on you. So think and ask yourself, how can I bring some level of accountability into what I do so that I can have that? Because that's one of the reasons that you're making promises to yourself and then you don't do it. You're like, I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to email my list, and then you don't do it, and it's only between you and yourself. Well, you've only let down yourself, and we kind of do that to ourselves a lot. So we're sort of like, okay, well, it's all right, I'll just forget about it and move on about something else. Now, if you have committed to somebody else that you're going to email your list and let them know about it, or you're going to do a particular thing and let them know about it, the likelihood of you flaking is so much lower because you don't want to lose face. You know, you can check in with these people and you can do things with them on a regular basis. And trust me, it really helps. Like I said, knowing that I have to report back to people keeps me on my toes, okay? And even if you had a simple calendar, they call it something like Seinfeld kind of created, you know, you have just get a calendar and then you just cross off when you do things so that you have this kind of consistent visual that you can see that, okay, I'm doing this, and you don't want to break that chain. It's a great way to hold yourself accountable. So different people hold themselves accountable in different ways, okay? So find a way to hold yourself accountable, whether it's a business bestie, a coach, a mastermind, you know, and getting that support in place, okay? So those are the 5 reasons that we've talked about. That's taken a bit longer than I thought it would to go through those things. But those are the 5 reasons why you're not being consistent right now. So of the 5, let me just recap them. You're not clearing your vision. Okay, that's the first one. You're not setting yourself up for failure, which means you're not planning and looking and seeing, okay, what are the things that will stop me from being successful in doing this thing? How can I mitigate against that? The third one is you don't schedule these things in. You're kind of assuming that you're going to remember to do half this stuff in your busy life, in your schedule, and they don't happen. Number 4 is that you are making excuses. And number 5 is that you don't hold yourself accountable. So of those 5, post in the comments, which of the ones do you think is the biggest reason why you're not being consistent in your business right now? So is it you don't have a vision, you don't know where you're going? Is it that you are basically not setting yourself up for success? You are not holding yourself accountable? You're not scheduling it in? Or you're making excuses? I would love to know. And then we will move on to the consistency cure, where I'm going to share with you the 5 steps, which are kind of based on this, how you work through to be able to set something up for yourself that will help you become more consistent in a particular area. Okay. So before I do that though, I will share with you something first. But yeah, let me see. Which area are you not being consistent in lately? So number 3 is your biggest shares. That was I can't remember now. Which was number 3? You're not. So we've got excuses, scheduling. Number 3. Okay, let me see. Which one's number 3? Sorry, check my presentation. Yes, not scheduling it in. Okay, number 3, not scheduling in. Let's see. Richard says making excuses. Mustafa says making excuses. Franklin says not holding herself accountable and scheduling. Not being clear on your vision. Okay, listen, excellent. For me, mine was making excuses. Okay, I don't have the time. Okay, I have a full-time job. I have 2 children under 4. I just made excuses. Okay, and also added into that just, not putting things in so I can do them. Brumby says accountability. Okay, fantastic. So let me talk to you, before we talk about the cure, let me talk to you about the 4 areas that I believe that you should be focusing on in your business and being consistent in, so that you can see that kind of growth. Okay, and I say growth in the 3 C's. Okay, so this is in your clients. So this is actually getting clients in. Growth in your community. This is your list. Your influence, how many people follow you on social media, that sort of thing. And ultimately cash, because you are in business. So if you are not seeing growth in your client base, if you're not seeing growth in your community, and if you're not seeing growth in your income, you're not growing. Your business is not growing, okay? So the 4 areas, grab your pen and you can write these down. And some of you may know already, and I'm just going to reinforce, because you can't hear these things more than once. You can hear them many times, it's fine. So the 4 areas, I call it the consistency quadrant. So the first area, is your mindset and your confidence, okay? You need to be consistent in having a daily mindset practice, okay? So this is about being intentional about making sure that you take care of your headspace, that you can stay in the game, that you can look after your thoughts, and that you can make sure that you're really clear on where it is you want to go, so that you're taking that consistent action every day, okay? So if you're not doing that, and it takes the form in it can take many different forms. Everyone does things differently. I like to journal. I like to read affirmations. I listen to affirmations. I read positive books and watch positive things. I also do a lot of personal development things as well, with the whole goal of basically helping me to stay in the game, because I'm my biggest hindrance. Like, I get in my own way so many times. I overthink things, and then I have this great idea and then I just don't take action on it because I'm afraid. So I use journaling and I use those techniques to really help me identify what are the fears that are holding me back. So, or for example, like 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to be promoting something, and I can't remember what it was. And I just wasn't doing anything. I literally was not doing anything. And I had to sit there and journal, ask myself, what is the resistance? Like, why are you hiding? And why are you not showing up? Now, to some of you, you might be like, I didn't know you're hiding. I know myself and what I'm committed to doing for myself and my business. So I was hiding. So I use that to do that. So number 1, you want to have a consistent mindset and confidence practice. Okay, if this is what's going to help you to stay on track. This is going to help you when you start looking at other people and start feeling overwhelmed and start to feeling like you're not worthy. This is going to help you to remind yourself that you're fantastic and amazing. I get my clients to write, I am list, like, who are you? You write this down, create your own affirmations. I get you to write down why you are qualified to do what you do, because some of you don't realize that you are more than qualified to do what you do. And yes, you may be new in business, but you're not new in experience of what you're doing, and so you're qualified to charge whatever you need to charge because you have that experience. So again, if you're feeling that you not worthy, it's all that worthiness and I'm not enough, write a list of why you are worthy, like all the qualifications that you have, all the things that you've done, testimonials of things that people have said. And if you don't keep copies of things that people say, nice things that people say about you, start doing that, okay? It's like a little folder I keep, and it's just like an evidence folder. I keep it. If someone leaves a testimonial, somebody posts something nice in the Facebook group, something in email, I snapshot it, I keep it, because you just need those reminders. Sometimes you just forget, okay? So that's the first area. The second area you need to be consistent in is your visibility and your community building, okay? So visibility takes many forms, but essentially this is about showing up and letting people know what you do, what you're about, and how you can help them. So visibility, social media, and building your community, your list building, there's many things you can do in this whole arena, but you have to be committed to being consistent there. That was my commitment to myself this year. I said, I'm going to commit to being consistent in my visibility. So whether that was showing up in my Facebook group, whether that was emailing my email list, whether that was doing Facebook Lives or doing video, what have you, I decided to commit to being visible. So that pushed me to go and apply, and I got published in the Huffington Post. Just recently I applied to 5 different podcasts to be interviewed. I got 4 accepted in a couple of days. I'm waiting on the 5th one. All year I've committed to being visible and showing up. So every day on whatever platform, you will see me appear somewhere, because I've committed to being visible. And visibility means different things to different people. And also, it doesn't mean that you have to be on all the time. I'm visible at the weekends, but at the weekends, I'm just hanging with my family and I'm just watching Netflix and doing my ironing and stuff, because I have tools and things out there that help me be visible. So it applies to all aspects. So what are you doing in your business to help you be consistent in being visible and also growing your community? Okay, this is your impact, your email list. And if you don't have an email list, then we need to talk, because that's something that you need to have so that you can be building your community. Okay, the third area where you need to be consistent is in your systems and your strategy. So this is where people start doing something for a little while, they don't see any results, and then they quit, and then they start doing something else. But the thing is, you didn't commit to it long enough. So if you're working a strategy, so I knew that I wanted to be visible I want to be visible, and I knew that I wanted to create content. And so I basically committed to kind of creating content daily in a way through video. Now, did I always get people on my live streams? No. Did I always get people commenting? No. Even when I posted in my Facebook group when it was really like in its infancy, did people always comment? No. But did it mean I stopped? No, because you're kind of committing to a strategy. And the strategy for me was, I'm going to grow my brand, and I want to grow my community so that people come into there and they're fully supported, they're fully resourced. And so to do that, I need to be doing those things, even if I'm not seeing any results, okay? So how many of you keep chopping and changing your strategy? Now, yes, there are things that the gurus will tell you to do. There are things that work for everybody. What I'm saying here is that you need to determine what your strategy is. My strategy is a mixture of different things, what I found to work for me, and I will continue working into 2017. You need to determine what your strategy is and commit to it and doing it all the time, and not be like, oh my goodness, what is she doing? Oh, I like what she's doing, I'm going to do that as well. Oh, they've just released this, I could do that, I'm going to do that as well. That's what I did in 2015, and it left me very overworked, very busy and poor. So you need a strategy for yourself, and you need to be consistent with it. And then with your systems, what I mean by systems is anything that you do in your business on a regular basis, you want to essentially have a system for it. And it could be as simple as a checklist. Okay, so for my business, we do a lot of webinars, we do a lot of opt-ins, and we do a lot of things that need sign-up pages and landing pages. So we have checklists so that the girls know what they need to do every step of the way, and we don't miss things out. So just like going back to the McDonald's analogy, they know what they need to do in every store. They have checklists and they tick it off. So you need to create that for your business so that you can be consistent in doing it. So you know that, okay, to do a blog post, here are the steps that I need to do, from creating it to putting it together to publishing it and where it's going to go, to finding the image, everything. I have it all listed so that I can be consistent in doing it the same way every time. And that also breeds confidence with your clients, because they know, okay, great, she has an amazing onboarding process. And and you have that because you've mapped it out and you have a system that is consistent. So look in your business right now, where you're not being consistent in your systems, and where are there gaps that you could potentially block and make a more smoother operating environment for yourself, okay? And then the final area is money mastery and sales, okay? So you want to be consistent in managing your money, in tracking your money, and in selling, because ultimately you're a business. And so if you're not doing those things, you're going to find yourself poor. You're going to find yourself with not a lot of money. And so money mastery, this is about your mindset towards money, but also the practical aspect of tracking your money, knowing what's coming in, what's going out. It's about doing the sales activity to tell people that you have things for that they can buy, and you're doing that on a consistent basis. So, we all struggle with these things. And like I said before, sales was something that I struggled with. And that manifests itself through lack of income. And you have to be aware of that. So you need to know, okay, what things do I need to be doing consistently so that I can be making sales in my business? My goal, and I'm not there yet, is to make sales every single day in one form or another, whether it's a £10 ebook or a new one-on-one client. I want to get to the point in my business where I'm making money every day. Okay. And to do that, it's going to require systems. To do that, it's going to require being visible. You see how all these pieces work together. But money mastery and understanding that you're running a business and you're consistent in that is key. All right. So that is what I call the consistency quadrant. So that's your mindset and your confidence, your visibility in your community, your strategy and your systems, and your money mastery and your sales. So again, of those 4 areas, post in the comments and tell me which of those 4 areas do you feel that you lack the most consistency, because we all lack consistency pretty much in everything in some way or form. But which is the area that you really want to nail and get better at moving into 2017? Post in the comments. I'd love to know. And I'm going to check in and see. And maybe have a drink for money mastery and sales, says Julia. Fabrizio says visibility. Fiona says systems and strategies. I have to nail it. Anyone on the Facebook Live, which of the 4 areas are you struggling with? Mustafa says money mastery and sales. And you see, selling again is linked to mindset. You know, if you don't feel that you're worthy to charge certain things, if you feel that, oh, I'm bothering people by selling to them, you're not going to sell, and you're going to find yourself missing opportunities for sales. Like I said, you always have opportunities around you, whether you can see them. So Franca says mindset and visibility. Tracy says systems and strategies. Sharon says money mastery and mindset. Okay, awesome. So you see, these are things, it's great you're able to identify those, and you now have that awareness to kind of make the change. All right, so we're coming up to the top of the hour. Let me move into the consistency cure, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can go deeper in this if you want to work with me. And finally, I'm going to talk about the habits. Habits is such a kind of negative word, but the things that you need to do on a daily basis, okay, for your business. And it's like a little kind of daily success checklist, okay? So Julia says, my issues, I get the client last minute, they had a reality and cancel. Kakini says, commitments. Point 2 was... I'm not fully. Are you talking about the consistency quadrant? Because that would be visibility and community. If you're talking about the reasons why you're not being consistent, I think that one, for number 2, that one is that you're setting yourself up for failure. You're not basically giving yourself the opportunity for success. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the consistency cure. All right. So this is what I do whenever I identify an area that is weak and I need to fix. Okay. So let's give an example. In fact, who wants to go on the hot seat? Because that would be more fun. Who wants to go on the hot seat? Raise your hand. We can choose an area and we'll work through it. So is that Julia raising her hand? All right, I'm going to unmute you. All right, let's do Julia. Julia. Unmute. Okay, so Julia, hello. So you share with us which area is your biggest area, or what is something that you really want to become more consistent with, and we'll work through it and share on how we work through it. Oh, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. You muted? If not, you can post it in the chat. Tony says visibility and sales. Okay, cool. So we're going to use Julia as an example to work through the consistency cure, okay? So she's going to post it. Are you talk? Let's see. If for some reason you're not coming through sound-wise, but you can just post in the chat, Julia, and we'll do it that way. It's no problem. Oh, she's waving her. All right. Okay. How about, okay, we'll choose someone else. Don't worry. Okay, let me see. Who else wants to have a go? Raise your hand. Let me see. Or mute yourself and speak. And if Julia, you can get the sound back on, we'll come back to you. Franca. All right, Franca, let's see. Can we unmute you? Let's see. Franca, here she is. Unmute. All right, Franca, do you want to tell us which area that you want to get more consistent with? And we're going to work through that for you.
Okay. So.
Oh. Go on.
Can you hear me, Chichi?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, go on.
Okay. So my greatest struggle is in being consistent with social media.
All right. Okay, great.
Yes.
All right. So the first thing with the consistency cure is identifying, okay, it's identifying what is your bigger vision for your business, okay? So why is social media important to the bigger goal of your business? So tell me that. Why are you even bothering to do social media? Why is it important?
Okay, so I have a following on social media, and every time I'm consistent with posting, they are very responsive.
Okay.
And what happens is with time, I don't know what happens. I just stop posting on social media, and then they stop engaging.
Okay.
And
So
then,
go on. Sorry.
And then as soon as I get back to posting, they get back to engaging with me.
Right.
So when they are engaging, then they are buying from me a lot, which is good. But I don't know what stops me from posting.
Okay. So I'm glad you finished that cycle. So when you post consistently, they engage. When they engage, they buy. Here's the thing. So your social media, the big why your social media, I'm just going to meet you a little bit while talking, is that you are getting income from it. So the reason why social media is important to you is that it is directly linked to you getting income in your business. Okay, so the next question, the next step of the cure is to tell me, why do you feel that you're not being consistent with your social media? Like, what is the things that are stopping you from being consistent? So the first thing is that we've identified why it's important, because we know it's going to get us income. The second reason now is, why are you not doing it?
Well, I'm most consistent when I batch my content and I schedule ahead of time.
Okay.
As soon as I miss like a day or two, then it becomes extremely difficult to go on. And then, especially with Facebook will tell you 700 people haven't heard from you in a week. And then I'm like, oh God, they haven't heard from me. Then just goes,
Okay.
So it's when I miss a day or two, then getting back becomes really difficult.
Okay. So because you didn't schedule it in, you didn't take the time to plan it ahead of time, you find it difficult to kind of maintain it. Okay. Is that right?
Yes.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So you now know that you have the social media, that it links to bring income. We now know that you're not doing it because you're not scheduling the time. Okay, so how do we plan for failure? So this is where we talk about what are the things that will stop you from being able to put in this time and doing it. So you tell me about your life and your lifestyle. What things come up for you that prevent you from, having that time to schedule it, and how can you plan for success in this area?
I don't have a consistent schedule. That's one of the problems.
Okay.
I have a 6-year-old and an 8-month-old with different schedules. And then I have 2 offline businesses.
Okay.
So the coaching bit is where the challenge is. I don't really have the time to sit down and plan the content and post it and all that. What has helped recently is I work at night, when they all sleep, maybe like from midnight till, let's say, 3 a.m. And then I batch the whole content for the week. That works. But I don't know how I'm going to sustain not sleeping.
Exactly.
Just to put my content out there, yeah.
Okay, and that is not sustainable at all. As a mother of 2 as well, I went back and I don't need sleep, but then I just broke down and got sick. So okay, so with that, we need to look at. So here's what I would suggest here. So you are a very busy person, as we all are, and so it's about deciding priorities. So if this part of your life, this business, is important to you, you do need to allocate time for it. So you need to be intentional about how you allocate that time. So this is looking at your schedule. Think about that and say, okay, how can I create myself a schedule? Because again, I've been in that same position. When I left my job, one of the biggest issues was like, okay, how do I now manage my time? And even when I was in my job, about managing time. So it's looking at your whole schedule as a whole and saying to yourself, okay, these are all the things that have to happen. I've got to be a mother to my children. I've got to feed them. I've got to do all these things for them. I've got to focus on my offline businesses as well. And then you want to then see what time you have available for this business. Okay. And you've got to put in sleep. And the truth is, Franca, it may turn out that you don't have a lot of time. And that's where you then have to look at things like, okay, do I now need to invest in getting somebody to help me, like a VA? who can schedule these posts and batch them all together? Or do I then work in a way that I batch my content for a longer period of time and take off some time to do that? You see, you need to look at your lifestyle and look at, say, if I schedule my life together, where can I do this? Because what's happening is you haven't got a schedule. And so you're doing all this stuff kind of very haphazardly. And so it's sort of like you're fitting it in here, fitting it in there, but then it's not consistent. You're not sleeping when you do manage to do it, but then it's still not consistent. But then overall, you have the situation where when you do it, it brings you sales. So Franca, I can't unmute you for some reason. I want you to tell me, maybe you need to unmute yourself. From based on what you talked about, what do you feel is your next step to be able to help you to do this effectively? And like the thing about consistency is it doesn't always have to be you doing the activity to make sure that you are consistent, if that makes sense. Like I talk about my own social media. I don't post my social media live anymore. I have a tool that do that. So Franca, are you still there, my love? I think she's dropped off. Okay, she's dropped off. So we'll continue. But as you can see with Franca's example, and I'll just continue the cure thing to understand. Okay, so we identified that the reason why social media is important is that it brings sales. She's not doing it because she doesn't have a schedule. She doesn't have a schedule because she has a lot of things going on in her life and she doesn't have an overall schedule. So she doesn't know what time she has available to do stuff in her business. So her next step is to create that schedule for herself and see what time do I actually have in my business to do this. And if it turns out she has like 2 hours a week, then clearly that's not enough time. And then she needs to think about, do I now need to outsource this to somebody else to help me to do it? Or is this not the right time to do this business right now? And it's about having open conversations and honest conversations. My audio has gone really low, Fabrizio says. I'm going to move closer. Is anybody else struggling with the sound? Can you hear me better now? Okay, so that's what I said. So in the steps, so she's now identifying how to create her new schedule, and then she's obviously going to create the time to do that. And the final piece in the cure is that she holds herself accountable. So she will come into the group and say, okay, ladies, I'm going to take some time out this weekend to create my overall schedule so I can work out how much time I have. Oh, audio is a little bit muffled. Okay, what can I do here? Let me see. I don't know why, because I haven't done anything. Let me just put this headset and see if it makes a difference, because I didn't want to use it because it's not been the greatest. But hold on. I'm going to, okay, Vina says she can hear me. I'm talking in a headset now. Tell me if it's worse or better. I'll take it off and put it back in. And we will continue. I think since she unmuted Julia. Okay. I'm going to meet you all. I'm going to unmute you all. And then meet you all again.
All right. Yeah. No, I think since you're muted, Julia just went away.
Got away? Okay. All right.
So maybe you should have muted everybody.
All right. So I'm now going to meet you all again. Can you all hear me okay now? Christine says you can hear me well. Just wave and say if you can. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, cool. Does that make sense in terms of what we talked about? Okay, in terms of the steps. Does anybody else want to have a go? Work through one of the things that they're struggling with. Okay, we'll go back to Julia because she's waving back at me. So let me see. Julia, you wrote you're struggling with closing the sales and you're struggling to understand what you're doing wrong. Okay, so let's that's more of a specific issue. So when we talk about consistency, what are in the aspects of selling do you feel that you're not doing consistently well? Does that make sense? Because not closing sales is more of a specific issue where I would sit with you and go, okay, let's look at what you're doing in your sales calls to understand why you're not closing your sales. Does that make sense? As opposed to something you're doing, because closing sales call might not necessarily be something you're doing every day. That makes sense. I don't know if that's making sense. So just let me see if I can mute you, or you can type in the chat. Because consistency in closing sales, let me see. If you're consistent not closing sales, let me put it this way, then there's different things you need to check and do. But this goes back to what I talked about at the beginning about measuring things. If you have a sales process, then you can look at that sales process and have a chance to kind of go through each stage and say which bit is not working. If you don't have a process with which you sell, so like, for example, if somebody gets on a call with me, I have a process which I take you through so that I kind of make sure that I've covered everything I need to cover. And then I kind of go on to closing the sale and moving on from that. Now, if you don't have any of that, and it's kind of like, oh, you get somebody on the phone and then you kind of talk to them and it's sort of like different for everybody, then you're going to struggle to know where the issue is. So if we go back to, okay, thanks ladies, you can hear me on that side, great. If you go back to the kind of consistency, the reasons why you're not being consistent, which I talked about earlier, you need to create a process around your sales, okay? So you need to create a process around how you sell. So when somebody gets in contact with you, what is the next step? When they get on the phone with you, what is the next step? What questions do you ask them? And what responses are you getting? Because if you're having a problem with closing, I would say to you, okay, so what sorts of questions are you asking? What sort of responses are you getting? What excuses are they giving you? All that sort of thing. And if you need to be able to track that and be able to say, well, I did 10 calls last week, Chi. 3 of them said they couldn't afford it. 2 of them said this. 1 of them said this. 1 person said yes. Great. Now we have some things to work with. Does that help you, Julia? So you need to have a system around your selling. Okay, how you create your, that whole process, and then we can look at each individual section and say, okay, maybe you need to ask better questions, or here's how you handle the objections, and here's how you do X, Y, and Z. Okay. Still sounding a bit distant. Okay. All right, I don't know if I can please everybody. I don't know. This is sound. I don't know. I'm sorry. Hopefully you can still hear me. Okay, I'm using a headset now, so hopefully that should be okay. So Fina says, that's exactly what I'm working on, documenting my process. Yes, if you don't document your process, you're not going to be able to know how to improve it. So Fina, you put your hand up. Do you want to say something? Okay, go. You're muted.
Oh, have you unmuted me?
I have, yes.
Can you hear me?
I can.
You can, okay. Well, I was just following up on what you said about the system and the process. It's quite important because I've kind of told myself that if I don't have that in place, then I'm not preparing myself for those clients.
Yeah.
I'm not preparing myself for them. Because if I've got them in place, then when you talk about confidence, that increases your confidence, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you've got a system in place that you can just talk through and get it. So yeah.
It does, and we talk about it all the time. So often when clients are a classic example, you want to go and book clients, but you're not booking them, and you're asking yourself, well, you're not being honest with yourself about why, and then you actually dig deeper and you realize that you're not ready. You're thinking, okay, if I get a client tomorrow, I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do. So I gave an example earlier around, if I get loads of work, what will happen, sort of thing. You have to work through those fears. You have to go to that endpoint and ask yourself, okay, so I get all these clients in. I had a client who had that exact fear. She wouldn't put herself out there because she was afraid she was going to get too many clients. I said, really, ultimately, you're in control. You can say no to people. You can put people on a waiting list. Exactly. You need to be ready to receive those people. So, yes, that is what I would say there. Franca, I continued answering we went through it to the end. So what I would suggest is just go back to the recording. And ultimately what you need to do is take some time out to create your schedule, your overall schedule, to see what level of time you have available for this business. And then from that basis, you can decide, do you have that time to be able to do this for your social media, or do you need to then outsource it to somebody else? Because that is, again, for you to be consistent doesn't mean you have to do the work. It could be somebody else. Okay. All right. So Sharon says, how do you develop a process? Okay, a process is simply it's as simple as creating a checklist. So next time you do something in your business, let me give a classic example, like client onboarding. I literally, sorry, excuse me, I'm gonna cough. There's 2 ways. You can take client onboarding. You can design the ideal process of how you want it to be. Okay, this is how we do it in the business world. So we do the as-is process. We look at what is currently happening, okay? So I would map out, what am I currently doing? Well, I'd be like, well, I don't have a scheduler. I don't send any contracts. I don't do this. I don't do this. So that's the as-is process, as it is right now. Then you would create the to-be process, which is where you want to get to. So you design that process, and it'd be like, I want to get this email, and then you want to be automated here, and they want this to happen, and they want them to receive this thing. And then you kind of create that to-be process, and then you go and put the 2 together, and you see where the gaps are, and then you create it. That's one way. Another way is to kind of look at what you're already doing and create a checklist from it. So like I said, we do a lot of webinars, we do a lot of landing pages and setup and stuff, and I literally just wrote down what it is that we do. And sometimes you can do that. If you don't have the time, record yourself doing it the next time you do it, and give it to your VA to write the checklist of what you do. A process is simply just a checklist of things that you do. It's a step-by-step process, of what you need to do to get a particular result. So you can do those two ways. You can do the as-is process as you're doing it right now. If you are doing it right now, if you're not doing anything, then you don't have an as-is process. You're just going to create yourself a process. Okay, and that's a beautiful thing. It's your business. You can create whatever you want to do and do it that way. So let's have a look. Julia says, my client that cancelled at 7 a.m. this morning. I spoke with her last night. I spent the conversation with her, but her husband wasn't on board. Then he was on board. Now she changed her mind. Okay, so that's more to do with your client. I think if you had somebody who said a yes and they, were on board and they kind of changed their mind, then that's maybe a conversation you have with her about working through some of her fears. Because that's the thing, as a coach, your role is also, the thing is they're hiring you to help them get a transformation, and it's scary. And sometimes then that kind of reality hits them and they freak out. So as a coach, your role is to help her walk through that process. And that first process is investing in herself to get that transformation. And so you want to kind of get back on the phone with her and just ask her, you told me, and again, this goes back to your sales questions. You told me that, you wanted to lose weight. You told me that your confidence was really low. You told me that if you were able to lose this weight, this was what it would mean for you. You told me that if 12 months from now, I was still in the same position, how you would feel. So you now tell me what's coming up for you. Why are you feeling afraid? And let's work through it, okay? And do it that way. And that's how I would do that, Julia, because that's more around her and her fears. And as a coach, you want to work through that with her. Hazel says, hello, I just got into the chat and so I can relate to the statement you made. I have a business. I'm so scared to put myself out there. I don't know how to go about it. Okay. So, like I say all the time, fear is something that always presents itself. And you have to work through that and understand what is the root cause of the fear. And as you go into business and you put yourself out there, the overarching fear is often, what will people say? What will people think? Challenging the status quo. Will people like me? Who am I? And so, Hazel, there's different exercises and things that you can do. I get my clients to identify what those fears are and then come up with 3 reasons why they're not true. Because often they're stories that we tell ourselves. I also get you to, identify the things that make you qualified to do what you do. So if you've decided to go into business, there will be things that you have in your toolkit, your skills, your experiences that qualify you to do this. So you want to then be able to document those things down, because we often forget. We forget. For a long time, when I was running this business, I forgot that I have over 10 years experience working with small business offline, okay? I was like, well, I'm not, I kind of like put it to one side. It's sort of like, well, I'm in an online business now. That's not really relevant. It's not important. Well, actually it is, because business is still business, offline or offline. So you have a whole host of experience that you can bring to your business. And you also have to acknowledge the fact that there will be people who will say stuff, like I said earlier, who will judge you and maybe say not nice things, but you have to hold on to your own identity of who you are, because that is the foundation. It's your own identity. The only person you ever need to convince is yourself, okay? So if you cannot convince yourself that you can do this, that you are worthy, then you need to think about whether business is the right thing for you, because business just amplifies everything, okay? So I hope that's been helpful. So that was the consistency cure, okay? So those 5 steps, again, just to recap, and then we'll move on. Why is this thing important to me for my business? Why is it important? What's the big reason why I need to do this thing? Secondly, why am I not doing it? Okay. How can I set myself up for success? So how do I plan for failure? That's number 3. Number 4 is I need now to kind of schedule the time in to take the next step. So you kind of decide, what is the next step that I need to do? Make the time to do it. And the 5th thing is hold yourself accountable. Okay. All right. So that's the consistency cure. All right, gosh, we've talked a lot, okay, we've talked a lot, but I think it's really important to talk about these things, because we're going into 2017, and what has got you here is going to keep you here if you keep doing the same thing. And I'm sure a lot of you want big things for next year, and I'm sure a lot of you want to do new things next year. Hazel, the 3rd thing is you want to plan for failure. What I mean by that is identify the things that will sabotage you and the things that will hold you back and stop you from doing that thing, and plan for failure. So using the example of going to the gym, to plan for failure, which basically means that I'm planning for failure in the response that I want to make sure I get to the gym. So what are the things that are going to stop me getting to the gym? Oh, well, that's not knowing where my kit is. That's not being ready. So I will plan to be successful and have my kit ready. I'll either wear my kit, have it ready, have my bag together, keys together, everything good to go. You know, got my water bottle, everything's good. I have no excuses. That's what I mean by that, Hazel. Okay. So Kenya says, run through the questions again. Okay, so the questions for the consistency cure. So let me run it again. So the first question, so you've identified there's a particular area you want to get more consistent with. So the first thing is, why is this important to the success of my business? Okay, so like with Franca's case, we worked through that by being consistent on her social media, that led to more engagement, which leads to more sales, which is what she ultimately wants: more clients, more customers, more money. Okay, the first question, why is this important? Second question is, why am I currently not doing it? What is the resistance? What is the fear? What is holding me back? Okay, the third thing is, how can I plan for failure? And that's a kind of an oxymoron, and that's how I say that. You're really looking to see what are the things that are going to sabotage me and are going to stop me from doing this thing. So again, Franca's example is that she has no schedule. So if she doesn't plan it into a schedule, it means it doesn't get done. Or if it does get done, it's at 3 o'clock in the morning and she's not got any sleep, and she has a 7-month-old baby, 8-month-old baby, and a 6-year-old, which is not sustainable lifestyle. Okay. The fourth thing is, okay, what is the next steps that I need to take to move this thing forward? So you want to list what steps you need to take, and then you want to schedule in the time to take those next steps. Okay. And then the fifth thing is to hold yourself accountable. So this is kind of telling, coming into the group and saying, this is what I want to do, everything else like this. If you've been in the group long enough, we did this in May. It was the Consistency Cure Challenge. We did this over 5 days. We did this. So those are the steps you've got to take. Okay. So why is this important to my business success? Why am I not doing this right now? How do I plan for failure and set myself up for success? For what are the next steps I need to take, and scheduling them in. And the fifth thing is holding yourself accountable. Okay. That makes sense for everybody? Is that all right? I'm going to make sure. I'm going to just plug my laptop in. The battery is yeah. So any questions on that, ladies, before we move on? Okay. So let me check on the live stream. Nothing there. Cool. All right. So I appreciate we've got about 7 minutes left, because I do put like 90 minutes for these things, because we do talk a lot about things, and I do want you to feel that you've got good value and stuff. So let me talk about how we can take this further. So for those of you who know, I do work with clients one-on-one, and I do work with clients in a group environment. Now, my group program is currently closed. That's the mastermind. It's running, it's going great, and I'm very grateful for the ladies in that. So for the rest of you who are interested in getting more support around basically taking your business to the next level in 2017, okay, you're not being consistent in particular areas, you know that you need some guidance and help, and I talk about the whole accountability thing. You want some help in getting to that place, okay, you want the direction and the accountability, then I want to share with you that I have opened some slots for my one-to-one coaching. But I also know that one-to-one coaching is not for everybody, because there is a price tag. And I've also reopened the doors for the academy, okay? So this is the Build a Better Business Academy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So this is for you if you are basically building your business and you are struggling with what are the steps that I need to be doing to build my business. And in the academy, we go over all the foundational areas. So we talk about vision, we talk about your ideal client, we talk about social media, your website, we talk about building an email list. We also talk about running a business alongside your family and your home. We talk about, selling, all these things that I've talked about in the consistency quadrant, those areas that you need to be focused on to grow your business, we do. And in the academy, you have it's lifetime access, there's modules. We're currently running through it live. And the great thing about joining now is that we have, we've just completed week 4. We're going into 2 weeks of implementation because it's the holidays. So those of you who join now, you have 1 to 4 available, and the modules are drip fed weekly. And we have the 2 group calls coming up in the new year. and in February. So it's a really great time to join. You know, we're coming up to Christmas, there's a bit of downtime. And if you know that you need help from a coach, but maybe one-to-one is not ready, you're not ready for that, you have opportunity to join the program. Okay, and you have the Facebook group to ask questions, you have the content, and literally everything I teach my one-on-one clients, I've distilled it into this program, because I know that not everybody, some people like to work by themselves, they want to work through modules and things like that. Some people want to do one-on-one. So that is the academy. Okay, and there's 2 levels. You can join the academy, have access to the program. Like I said, it's lifetime access, all the modules, any updates, any guest experts. I've got my sales coach coming in the new year. He's doing training with all the ladies in the academy around sales and selling, and he's amazing. I'm bringing in I'm putting Facebook ads training in there as well, and also some stuff about visual branding. So anything we add into there, you will get, you know, you're locked in. There's you pay for it and you get the updates as well. That's one level. Now, like I said, if you want more hands-on support, the next level up gets you access to me specifically looking at your business. So I am in the group. I do the group call, but if you want specific support on your business, that's the next level. Okay, so there's 2 levels available for you, and that's the academy. So I'll post a link inside the group. Now, why now? Why not next year? Ask yourself that question. Why now? Why now? Why is now important for you to make the decision to grow your business, to up-level your business, to make those changes in yourself? You know, if you know my story, you know that literally a year ago, it's a bit more than a year ago, last July, August, I walked away from my business because I was doing it all wrong. I was listening to the wrong people. I was not focused on having a clear vision. I was trying to do everything that I thought I should be doing rather than creating a business model that worked for me. And, you know, I have 2 children. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. I'm married. I had a full-time job at the time. And so it was hard. And I had to take a step back and ask myself, is this the right way to run the thing? And am I really cut out to be an entrepreneur? The resounding answer was, yes, I am cut out to be an entrepreneur, but, you know, I wasn't doing it right. And in the space of 12 months, I came back in September. The following 12 months, I rebuilt my business, and I was able to walk away from my 9 to 5. I was able to start my latest group program. You know, my community has grown massively, and I am basically teaching what I know. I've been in business for over 4 years, like I said. I've worked with small business for over 10 years. And so that program is basically my way of sharing with you how to grow a business, a better business, basically. Because there's lots of information out there. It's difficult to know what's the right information to follow and what to do. And if you've been in my community, you know that I don't hide stuff. I'm very open and very authentic about what I share. And I'm very much kind of, you know, ask me and I'll tell you. And I want to see each of you succeed. Next year, we have another webinar. We'll have many more before then. But next year, we connect in the group. I want you to be telling me, Chichi, oh my goodness, 2017, I did this. I set my business up. I got all my clients. I left my job. I had, you know, a 5-figure month. Whatever is success for you, I want you to be celebrating and telling me those things, because it's possible for you. It's completely possible. And if we go back to what we talked about before, let's not make 2017 the year of excuses. Come on. I'm sure you're tired of the excuses. You're tired of the excuses. You want to grow your business because you wouldn't be here. So you have the opportunity to take that step, to invest into yourself, to invest in working with a coach, and to help you get there. And that's what you get. You get me supporting and helping you with your business and helping you get you to that next level. Because I don't, you know, like I said, I'm not here to tell you any stories and things. I'm very open about my own journey. I don't lie and tell you it's all roses and roses. It's not. It's hard work. And I will tell people when they tell me, make an excuse, I say, you're not ready. You're not ready. So if you are ready, I'm going to post the link in the group. Those of you who join, okay, you're also going to get access to the Business Vault for free. This is my resource library. All my training and everything goes in there. That's normally £197. You're going to get that for free as your bonus for joining the Business Academy. And I just want to give that to you because I, you know, want to say thank you. And I also said that I was going to award a prize to people on the live call and also the chat. Okay. I talked about offering a 3-hour business intensive to one woman, and basically to support her as she kind of gets ready to go into 2017. Now, I haven't really decided, let me be honest, how I'm going to choose this person, but there's 19 on here and there's 8 on here. Okay, so I think what I want to do is, if you are here on this webinar, okay, I'm going to tell you what you need to do, because people who are not here won't know what they need to do. If you want to win this prize with me, I would like you to go into the Facebook group. I want you just to do a short video, okay? Now, I'm asking you to do that because it's going to take you outside of your comfort zone. And I really want to know why 2017 is not going to be the year of excuses for you. Because if I'm going to invest my time into your business, I want to know that you're going to get the results, because you're going to do the work, okay? So that is for that. That's for a 3-hour intensive with me, which we will do in January to kind of set your business up, okay? Now, if you buy the academy, you also happen to win that, well, that's kudos for you. You get more time with me. But I want to know, let you know that that is available for you. So for those of you who are here, you know what you need to do, and I'm going to allow you 24 hours to do that, because the replay will be available for 24 hours and it goes into the vault. So if you want to win that, you're going to go into the group and you're going to share why 2017 is not going to be the year of excuses, and why you deserve to win this prize, and the community will vote. Okay, I think I've talked a lot right now. So for those of you who are still on here, thank you so much for staying on. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm just going to post in the chat the link. For those of you on the live stream, the link is chichierechalu.com/BBBA. Okay, that is the link to the academy, and you can sign up there. Like I said, there's 2 levels. You also get access to the business vault as well. And if you want to win that intensive with me, you all know what you need to do, okay? You all know what you need to do. So I want to know why 2017 is not going to be your year of excuses, and why, I should invest my time in you. It's open to you. Roommate is open to you. Yes, if you're an existing client, it's open to you as well. Because I'm going to, like I said, you're going to post your videos and the community will vote who's going to be the winner. So that's what we're going to do. That is what we're going to do. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? This is actually crazy. If you actually go to buy the academy, so I'm going to let you do it. But anyway, we're going to fix that when I come off this call. So if you do want to buy the academy, like I said, you're going to get access to the vault for free. And you also, if you go to the elite level, you're going to get some one-on-one time with me as well. This is lovely. Technology has not been my friend today. So it actually if you click on it, it says offer expired. So let's not do that. I'm going to go in and fix that. But do we have any other questions before we finish? The academy is $397. You can join for £135 a month, so you can have it in installments. If you want the elite version, that's $647. And for those of you who buy, so what it says on there, you get a personalized one-to-one session. I'm going to gift you another one, okay? You're going to get 2 sessions with me, because I'm feeling quite generous today, all right? So if you go for the elite one, that's what you get. So any final questions before we finish? Because I need to hop off and go fix some links. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm really thankful for all of you who've stayed to the end. This has been an hour and 30 minutes, and I'd love to know, what you've taken away from today, what you're going to do differently in your business. Please feel free to share that in the group as well. And, all those ladies who didn't make it live, they've missed out, and you can let them know they've missed out. But, let me know if you have any final questions. I will be hopping into the group to kind of connect with you. But like I said, the academy is there. If you want to work with me one-to-one privately, do message me. I do have some spots. I've opened 2 spots for people to work with me one-to-one. That's my highest level package. But the academy is there if that's more suited for you. All right, Julia, thank you. I know you've got to go and do the school run. Anybody else got any other questions? Let me see online here. Nothing else here. All right, let's go. I'm going to go head over to the group. Thank you, ladies. Thank you for being on here. I'm going to meet you all. You can say bye. Bye.
Okay. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.